Right, hi ladies. It's another podcast day, and boy, am I excited to be with you today. So today I'm going to talk to you about God, your CEO. Well, he's my CEO. I don't know about you, and that's kind of what I want to share with you today. And some of you may be like, I don't own any business. I'm not doing anything that requires a CEO. But I just want to tell you that you don't have to be a business owner for God to be your CEO. Even in your day to day life, your personal life, God can still be your CEO. He can still lead you, He can still guide you, and He can also still order your very steps to victory and to ensuring that you are making the best of decisions. Now, I'm talking to you today as your sister. I'm talking to you today as your friend. I'm talking to you today as one who has been where you currently are. And I sincerely want to encourage you to see differently, to believe differently, and to live differently. We there's a clash of worlds for us actually, and that clash of worlds is are we led by bottom line pressures, or are we allowing ourselves to be led by God? In our world today where there's so much pressure, there's so much expectations of how you should live, how you should respond, how you should act, how you should behave. Everybody has an opinion on what they want you to do, what they're expecting you to do. But at the end of the day, no one is really asking that question of is this what God wants you to do? And that's what I want to ask you today. While everybody's asking or is looking at the trends, everyone is in crypto, everyone is in affiliate marketing, everyone is in copywriting, everyone is in all of that. Those all sound great and all. And I have absolutely nothing against them. But I really, really want you to ask yourself that question of is this where God will have me right now, especially at this particular part or this particular place in my life? Is this where God will have me be? Is this what God will have me do? Is this the position and the posture that God will have me take in this season? What should I be doing that I'm not doing? And what should I not be doing that I'm currently doing? And so we got to ask ourselves this question and allow God to lead us, especially if He's going to be our CEO, if He's going to lead us, if He's going to guide us, if He's going to order our steps, especially into the very things that we have prayed and are praying about. So I'm going to look at four different things that I want you to think about. All right. Four different things that I want you to think about. And I really want you to follow me. I really want your heart to be open to just receive the best of this moment. The first that I'm going to talk to you about is purpose. How do I find meaning to my life? How do I find meaning to my work? You know, what exactly makes me different? And many times we look at the external things and we look at the things around us, and we are trying to find meaning and purpose in these things. And then God is trying to ask us in this moment that is that it? Do you understand? Is that it? Is that what you're living for? Is that how you're going to live your life? Are those the decisions that you're willfully going to make? Is that it? Is that how you're going to live? Is that how you're going to act? Is that how you're going to believe? What exactly makes your work unique? What exactly makes your life unique? What exactly makes you unique? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? And then let's transcend from I want to earn an income to take care of myself and my family. I want to be comfortable. We've got to transcend from that place, and then we've got to transit to finding God's calling, God's cause, and in it discerning our purpose. finding God's calling for us. What has God called you to be? Who has God called you to be? What cause has God called you to carry on your head, to propagate, to live, to exemplify, to typify? What exactly is that cause that God sees you fulfilling? What's the mandate that God sees you running with? God sees you stretching with? God sees you becoming with? You understand? What is that cause? And then how do we run towards it? How do we run to become it? How do we channel all that we are into these causes that God has earmarked for us? And so the first one is purpose. The second one is success. How do you define success? Some people define success by the number of cars a person has, the number of houses a person has, the number of affirmations the person has received, the number of likes or followership, the different things that define it as so much. Like we look at success as beauty, weight loss, and all of that. And then God is saying to you, allow me to expand your definition of impact from making money to making a difference. Allow me to expand your definition of success into significance my way. Allow me to expand your definition of success from you to us. That is, in a way that success is not just affecting you as a person, but success affects all of us. Do you understand? So, um, can we transition from that place that we move from success being a dramatic thing where I've made it in life, I've achieved it in life, I've attained it in life, I've arrived, I've done this, I've done that, to the place where we now begin to understand that God's will for us is to make a difference. God's will for us is to live a life of significance. God's will for us is to live beyond ourselves and to affect others positively. Affecting others positively includes affecting our friends, affecting our loved ones, just being impactful in living. So, beyond yourself and your family, who else is being affected by your decision to say yes? And how can you widen that influence? How can you widen that sphere? How can you widen that possibility? So this is leading us from a place of selfishness to selflessness, leading us from a place of ambition to impact, so that we're not just, and this is, it happens when God is your CEO. It happens when God is the owner and the endorser of the very things that you're doing. And so, my dear sisters, today I'm inviting us to come to that place where we see God as our CEO. Number three is courage. Courage. How is it that I find it hard to do the right things when I'm under pressure, and then I do the right things when I'm not under pressure? I just live my life when I'm not under pressure and all of that. So we need to begin to ask ourselves these questions. We need to begin to put ourselves in these positions to ask these things. Like, these are questions that are valid. They are right questions to ask. They are specific questions to ask. They are things that we need to have as a picture, as a framework in our lives, so that we're not just living lackadaisically, we're not living carelessly, we're not living a life of ambition, but we're living a life of impact. All right. And so we need to go to that place of courage where, how can I do, okay, let's look at Esther, for example. Esther is about to go to the king, and she goes, if I perish, I perish. Whatever happens, happens. But I choose to obey God. I choose to follow God. I choose to I choose to run with God. I choose to pursue after God. I choose to obey God. I just choose to align myself with God. I choose to align my desires with God. And these are things that we need to begin to look at and begin to answer. These are questions that we need to begin to ask ourselves. These are positions and postures that we need to know that I'm walking with God in courage, that just like the Hebrew boys and Daniel, I can enter into the lion's den and say, even if God does not deliver me, I still am going to represent him. I'm going to do the good things he has asked me to do. I still am going to live right. I'm going to act right. I'm going to posture rightly. And these are the things we gotta do. Our participations are required to achieve these things. We cannot afford to sit on the sideline and say, I'm going to sit this one out. We're not sitting this one out. We're becoming active participants. Saying, if I perish, I perish. Whatever happens, we go all the way with God. We go through the journey with God. And finally, we're looking at patience. I once told a friend of mine in a business consult conversation that we had, and I said to him, I said, let's be careful not to become a slave to urgent, that we begin to live in short term pressure. We need to learn patience. True impact takes time. We need to learn patience. Patience to make the right decisions, make the right moves, make the right calls. We need to learn patience. We need to begin to learn patience to put ourselves in the right circles and the right places. That we can stick to God's plan with God's timing, right? We can trust in God's plan as He prepares us for success. And so sometimes God's plan is sit, and everyone is running, and everyone is calling you lazy, and everyone is calling you names for not doing the way they want you to do. And you know you heard God, and God said, sit. Would you sit when it's not popular? Would you sit when it's not socially acceptable? Would you sit when it's not the expectations of everybody? Would you still sit and listen and obey God and follow God? Would you allow God to prepare you for the very things that He has called you for? And this is one of the reasons why this is happening, right? I could in this talk to you about the coaching and try to sell the coaching course to you, but to me, this is not about the coaching. This is about God wanting to pour his heart to you. This is about God wanting to speak to you, his daughter. This is about God trying to align you to his will, to his heart, to his desires, trying to get you to see life his own way, not your own way, his own way, trying to get you to be rightly positioned and rightly understand that the very things that he has called you to do, that he has strengthened you for them, that you're not alone in the journey. I'm going to give you one extra example, and that's yielding control. With God being your CEO, you've got to learn to yield control. That's where you begin to learn to say, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. Not my way, God, but your way. Not how I desire it, but how you desire it. Not what I want, but you leading me the very way that you want to lead me. Lord, it's about you ordering my steps and you guiding me and you posturing me and you granting me understanding and granting me insight. It's about you, you know, bringing the right relationships to me and ensuring that I step into that place and that space of becoming, yielding control. How do I handle circumstances beyond my control? How do I begin to fathom things that are beyond my control and allow God to lead me in spaces beyond my control and lead me in rooms beyond my control? How am I going to allow God to guide my steps and order my voice even in times when I don't understand what God is doing? How do I just do my part and then allow God to do his without getting in his way? That's what God wants us to do, sisters. Just allow God to do His. Step out of the way, step out of it, step out of it, step out of it, and allow God to do His part while you do yours. Allow God to lead you, to guide you, to order your steps, to just help you to do your part and align to Him so that He can do the very things that He has promised. God is not a man to lie, neither is He the Son of Man to go back on His word. The very things He has said, He can and will watch over His word to bring them to pass. He doesn't need human permission to do the things that He has said. He doesn't need human permission to change our lives. He doesn't need it. He just needs our participation. So, would you choose to participate with God and be an active participant in the journey and just allow God to lead the conversations and lead the path and lead everything? Would we be fully surrendered to God to say, not my will, but your will be done? So, my question is God your CEO? And are you going to let Him lead? I'll see you tomorrow. Let me know how this has blessed you in the chat. Have a fabulous day, fam.